my name is Michelle Sheppard. I'm a radio personality from Joy FM and also the founder of LGBTI Jobs.
And I'm Bronte Price. I'm a registered civil marriage celebrant and also a Joy newsreader as a volunteer on Joy.
Now, Bronte, you're a registered civil union...
Marriage.
Okay. Yeah. Too many words in there. It just needs to be just celebrant.
I'm a celebrant.
Yeah, you're just a celebrant. Now, with all the stuff that's going on with the marriage equality hoo-ha right now, I thought it'd be great as just two people sit down and have a conversation. And can you break down the difference between what a traditional, as people would call it, traditional heterosexual marriage and a gay marriage would be?
Okay. So in this country, a traditional legal marriage between a man and a woman has to have several aspects. So the first one is that we've got to, every celebrant at every marriage has got to recite a thing called the monitum. The monitum is actually a Latin word for warning. They've got to warn the couple that the relationship into which they're about to enter is very serious. It's expected it will be for everlasting and so on. And crucially, we have to say those words from the Marriage Act that literally are that marriage is between a man and a woman voluntarily entered into for life. Secondly, there's another indicator, and that is the signing of the marriage certificate and the marriage register. And so that's another component. Those two bits go to make the marriage a legal marriage. And so when I have couples from the LGBTI community come to me and ask for a wedding, I'm quite happy to conduct a wedding for them. We're quite clear about the fact that sometime during that ceremony I've got to say that it's not a legal wedding. We don't touch the monitum or the legal vows. We don't talk about marriage being between a man and a woman. And usually there's no signing. I don't go anywhere near signing certificates. So there's quite a difference between those two in a legal sense.
I mean, I've been married twice, so I think everyone should be, equally miserable in marriage, like everyone else is. But I still don't get it. So when I'm looking at the arguments that are coming through, you see articles from like John Howard and Tony Abbott, things like they're saying that these are exactly just as equal. They have the same rights, same everything. So can you explain that to me a bit more?
And they're not.
Okay.
And so, for example, a married couple has different rights from a de facto couple legally. And it particularly comes to bear when one of the partners dies. And so, case in point, I've got a friend who was married to, she's a woman in South Australia who was married to a man. They divorced, and then she came out and came together with a lesbian partner. Yeah. They were together for 32 years. The lesbian partner is the one who'd been married and unfortunately died a number of years ago. They'd been together for 32 years as a lesbian couple, and it wasn't her name, the partner's name, that went on the death certificate, and it wasn't she who had any say in the funeral. It was the ex-husband. And so that's just one classic example of the difference in rights. That would never happen to a married couple.
No, it wouldn't. But and I've seen that before in de facto relationships where somebody's been together for so long, they want to get access to bank accounts because the person's passed, or trying to get insurance or whatever. So basically, it's no different than a de facto.
And it's also the fact in funerals that affect LGBTI people that sometimes the family just steps in, takes over from, and it's outlined beautifully in Holding the Man with Tim Gonagrave, where the family just steps in, ignores the wishes of the deceased and takes over. And so someone who's spent their adult life not really adhering to any religious beliefs, but perhaps grew up in a religious school, was schooled in a religious school and environment, the family steps in and has a full church funeral with all the trimmings, and the partner is sometimes not even referred to as having been, in a relationship with the person who's passed away.
So I'm going to play a bit more of maybe the devil's advocate here. So being a trans woman who hasn't had lower surgery, doesn't plan on it, but I find a man that I meet that I really love, and I'm identified legally by birth, deaths, and marriages as a woman. I'm legally identified as all kinds of stuff, legally as a woman. Here's this man, I can't marry him even though I'm identified as a woman. But if I met another woman, I don't, and would actually be in the same gender relationship then. So what happens there when that sort of thing comes?
So as a celebrant, we've got to be satisfied that the couple coming before us are clearly identifiable as a man and a woman. Otherwise, we're in breach of the Marriage Act 1961.
Okay. So if I were to go meet a woman who's a cisgendered woman and she's a lesbian and we get in a relationship, even though I haven't technically had lower surgery, still wouldn't be classified or seen as a man and a woman.
We need to see if we can. We need to see evidence. If there's been surgery for gender reassignment, then we'll want to see that. At the end of the day, it really is at the discretion of the celebrant. They've got to be satisfied that this couple, these two people presenting before them, are satisfied that this couple is one as a man and one as a woman. And if at the end of the day we're not, then our call a friend line, if you will, is Attorney General's Department, who oversees the operations of the Marriage Act.
I'm sure you'd probably be getting some interesting clientele to be coming to you. So would you find that if you had non-LGBT people coming to you, cisgendered, heterosexual, looking to get a traditional classified marriage in Australia, too many words here, and if they came to you and found out you were doing a civil union like that, would they find they would walk away from you?
No.
Or would they continue booking you for a get together, like to host their ceremony, or do you find there's actually discrimination because you do host?
It's only occurred to me once where I've got that sense that as soon as the couple came to my home, and the wedding meeting, the first wedding meeting, is often held at my home, and they walked in, and I could see that my partner was at home as well, and I could see that the woman was completely comfortable, the guy was completely uncomfortable, and found it very hard to engage at all during the wedding meeting that took close to an hour, and the next day I got the email saying that they wouldn't be proceeding with any need for my services. That's really out of the ordinary, though. So I find that there's a whole range of people who, for whatever reason, even straight people sometimes can't be bothered with all the hoo-ha surrounding a traditional wedding, or the expense, or for various family reasons. They just want a very simple commitment ceremony, and so we'll do a commitment ceremony rather than a wedding. So that's open to straight people as well as people from our community. But I'm also finding that probably 95% of the straight couples that I marry ask for what we would call a protest sentence or two to be inserted after I've said the monotum and said that marriage in this country is between a man and a woman, voluntarily entered into for life. They then want me to say on their behalf a statement that disagrees with that.
Well, I really appreciate you helping me break a bit of this down, Bronte, because my news feeds that I see on Facebook, social media, everything, I always see both sides of everything, and I don't think that people really understand when it comes down to, it's really down to rights. So basically, celebrations are celebrations, love was love. Everyone is come together to love each other, but at the end of the day, it comes down to what are my rights to look after my partner in the end. Thank you for coming in and having a chat with us. My name is Michelle Sheppard. Thank you for watching.